dangerous.
Yes, he's having episodes that would occur with brain damage from substance D.
They will never ever make another movie like this ever again. This is because of a few elements. It lost money. It was filled with stars that took a pay cut. It's another drug-filled adaptation of Philip K. Dick's works. In other words, it is the totally experimental film called A Scanner Darkly. But is it any good? Let's find out. I'm Meffistoe. Like, share, and subscribe because this is my review of the movie A Scanner Darkly.
Visions of bugs, they're just garden variety psychosis, but a clear indication that you've hurtled over the initial fun and euphoric phase. And
Directed by Richard Linklater, A Scanner Darkly was released in 2006, based on the novel by Philip K. Dick. This isn't just any adaptation. It's an exploration of paranoia, identity, and social impact of drug use. The story of the movie places us where America has lost a war on drugs. The film follows Robert Ector, played by Keanu Reeves, an undercover narcotics officer who, while masquerading as a drug user, ends up being addicted to the very substance he is supposed to be eradicating, a substance called Substance D. He begins to lose his grip on reality, his identity, and his mission as he navigates through an increasingly paranoid and surreal landscape filled with his boss from the department, the psychiatrists who are supposed to help him and keep him in check, and the drug-fueled fiends that he keeps company in his house, all trying to pull him in different directions.
Yeah, because when you're going north, it screws this way, and when you're going south, it screws that way.
if we were in Australia.
If you just happened to come across this movie or this review and thought this was odd, don't fear. Welcome to the world of Philip K. Dick. He was a sci-fi writer that experimented heavily with what is politically correct called mind-altering drugs, and what I call taking so much LSD and speed to try and compete with Hunter S. Thompson on which one of them is going to burn themselves out first in a blaze of glory. Philip K. won it by a landslide.
He doesn't kill anybody, but he hangs around until the situation arises where they die.
But the legacy he left behind explored the unreal, crazy, and the effects of psychedelics on a man. And of course, on the other end, how amphetamines affect a man. Reportedly, A Scanner Darkly was the actual first novel that he wrote without using any speed, which kind of fits the overall theme of the movie because the cop depicting in it is trying to get rid of drugs rather than taking them. However, because of the nature of the work, he is forced to take them.
In many of those taking substance D, a split between the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere of the brain occurs.
The first thing you'll notice in the movie is the animation style. Well, it's because it's not really an animated movie. In fact, the technique used in it is animated rotoscoping, which in plain English means that the movie was shot live action and later on in post-production, the animation team had to paint over it frame by frame and make it look like it was animated. This isn't really a new technique, however, it was never used just like this in a film, and it hasn't been used like this ever again. Not because it's not artistic, but because it's a painstaking way of animating a movie, especially back in 2004 when the principal photography ended. The cost was simply too high. Plus, with all the problems the team had, the studio even had to increase the budget to account for that extra work needed to finish the film. But the finished product was so unique, and it still stands today amongst many other small budget films that wanted to tell a weird story.
Only a psychotic would do that, leave the front door of the house unlocked with a note on the door.
What'd you write on the note, Jim?
I wrote, "Come on in, the door's unlocked."
In terms of the casting, the director Richard Linklater kind of hit the jackpot. He got Keanu Reeves that just finished the Matrix trilogy and was a hot commodity. Winona Ryder that was on the decline in terms of her career, both paid the bare minimum. Woody Harrelson that was also in a kind of a lull in his career, and of course Robert Downey Jr. that just came out of real jail and was still kind of in Hollywood jail. All of them, including Rory Cochrane, who was best known for his role in Dazed and Confused, wanted to be in the movie because they loved the script so much. All of them did such a great job of playing addicts in various different ways, in various different kinds.
Plot of these albino shape-shifting lizard bitches. We are going to take this bike outside, ask the first person we see. We're going to introduce some novelty.
Linklater really captured the essence of Dick's exploration of identity, drug addiction, and the surveillance state. The narrative structure within its non-linear storytelling and multiple viewpoints mirrors the confusion and fragmentation of Arctur's mind. The film dives deep into the ethical ethical and philosophical question about self, what is reality, and the cost of combating a social issue like drug use, both systematically and personally. The movie is filled with philosophical consideration, particularly around that nature of identity and the impact of surveillance on human behavior. That scramble suit, which Arctur must wear to protect his identity, symbolizes that loss of self in a world where everyone is potentially both observer and observed. Couple that with the narrative of him spying on his friends, both as the ground cop and the surveillance tech looking through that monitor.
My brains are scrambled today.
A Scanner Darkly is not one of those explosive action movies with DEA agents bursting through the door to make an arrest. It portrays a futuristic world alongside with the decay of society, all through the lens of a possible unreliable narrator. I will definitely urge you to pick this one up and watch. It's not overly long and meandering, but it is unique in its storytelling and presentation, of course. I'm not gonna lie, it did kind of fail in the box office, but I believe it's because it's not an easy watch. But it is perfect if you're looking for a movie that challenges your mind to think a little bit about the metaphors and the hidden meanings. I thoroughly enjoyed revisiting this movie again and diving back into that drug-infused story with great acting that kind of reminded me of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Just a little bit more down to earth and gritty.
What do I do? I mean, how do you make it with that kind of sweet, unique, stubborn little chick?
You could buy her flowers.
I thank you for watching, and remember, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. I'll see you on the next video.